you guys, thanks so much for watching and being dedicated to learning more about how to positively affect your horsemanship. Today I wanted to do a quick little segment that you might not be super familiar with in relation to tie downs. And tie downs can be the umbrella of anything that induces an artificial headset in your horse. It can be the brain chain, as we like to call it, just your regular tie down strap, the German martingales, draw reins, anything of that nature. And the thing that I'm going to talk today about is not so much my opinion on how it fits in a training type of protocol, but actually how it doesn't fit in your horse's health. So a lot of people might be familiar with this first cervical vertebrae in the horse's neck, and the horse actually has 7. You can see about 5 here, and then the 6th and 7th hide behind this big shoulder, the scapula. And what happens when you are having a fixed head position down, we'll just pretend that this is a tie down here, you're creating a lot of stress on all of these joints along with the occiput. So basically a horse's head carriage and the way he moves his body naturally without any restraint or restrictions, there's going to be a little bit of swing to his head, there's going to be some reaching forward, some collecting inward, and those are all things that horses would do naturally to move their body to keep themselves safe and literally sound. So when we put something on our horse's head, we are not only restricting like the freedom of movement that those joints need to have for the horse to move in a balanced fashion, but we're also making them more dull. And I'll elaborate on that a little bit. And we are making them more dull by not only limiting the feedback that our horse can give us from a training communicative perspective, but there are bands and sheets of fascia in the muscles surrounding the horse's face. They go all over the horse, you know, down their neck, down the side of their face. And fascia holds basically the ability to talk to the whole entire horse about where the horse is. And when you are having something that is tight on the horse consistently all the time, there's no movement to it. When you have something tight across the noseband, you're basically cutting into and digging into any of the nerve endings, the fascia, all of the soft tissue that's surrounding there. So people might complain about their horse having a headache or acting a little bit grouchy, or, you know, he seems stiff, he won't bend in the poll, he won't laterally curve this way. And I would be very careful in how I would recommend approaching that from a training perspective, because it's not. It's a lot of times in consequence to a horse's headset being jammed and the equipment rubbing and rubbing and rubbing, and the horse's body weight pushing against the equipment, you know, over time, it's basically breaking down nerve endings, it's breaking down muscle fibers and tissues. And we've all seen that poor old team roping horse with the big, you know, dent in his nose kind of thing, bless his heart. And you know, I've even would go so far to say is I've seen horses with scar tissue around their face, their head, as well as here, because people have basically cut off the circulation. So you might be using a tie down or something for a quick fix, but not only from the training perspective, but also a health perspective, you are literally making your horse more dull. So I'd like you guys to think about those type of things as you go forward, and remember that nothing is beyond you learning the steps for an awesome foundation with your horse, and good things takes time. So don't ever feel overwhelmed like you wouldn't be able to get a really nice, soft, supple, responsive partner. You don't need to heavily rely on equipment or tack to do that for you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, we have C1, which is the wing of the Atlas, and C2 is right here. The vertebrae aren't up in the neck, they aren't low down here. The vertebrae go like this in an S curve. And we can see the outline on him. This first section of vertebrae, right here, between the occiput and the cervical, that's the yes vertebrae. So that allows the horse's head to move here. When we have a noseband tight, the horse can't have this yes vertebrae as much as he would need to move it. And then we have a no vertebrae, which is between C1 and C2. And this is the only joint that allows the horse to flex his head in a no type of fashion. You can see that. So we have our yes vertebrae and we have our no vertebrae. But anytime we have a locked, set head position, you're really adding a lot of stress on your yes and your no joints in here, not to mention all of the other nerve endings in your horse's face. So that is a close-up on C1, C2, and that's occiput, and how we need to be careful and how we're taking care of these vertebrae in our hard-working horses.